Hey everybody, welcome back to Yard Sale Squad. Today I'm going to do sort of a vlog style video, and I'm going to take you along with me on such a fun project, and that is making homemade beeswax candles. So you might remember that I did this last year, and I think this is just kind of going to become an annual project for us. I really love the ambiance of candles, but in recent years I've kind of tried to shy away from fragrance. So that's where the beeswax candles come in. So what I'm starting out with is just keeping this really cost effective by reusing some jars that we had from previous things around the house. So I have a pot of water here with some white vinegar and some dish soap, and I'm hoping that that will kind of loosen the adhesive on the jars. And then I'm going to make a paste of baking soda and what was it? Baking soda and dish soap, I think, and then that scrubbed the rest of that finish off. One new thing that I'm doing this year is that we're doing a couple of coffee mugs or teacups. I thought that would be a really sweet way to do a candle. These are just ones that I found at our local thrift store. These were all found in one trip, and I was really just in love with how high quality some of these are. You can see that is an actual china piece. But then a couple of these are really like heavy stoneware. It's kind of hard, I know, to tell on camera, but like that one there was just a really good quality one. And actually that one and this other one that I'm going to show you here with the scalloping, my husband wanted to keep just to use in the house because they're so cute. So we'll see if I end up doing that or not. But at first he said those were really a nice mug, a nice teacup. I thought this one was so pretty with kind of the wicker pattern and then the flowers. So we have 6 teacups in total. So the other thing I needed to do was melt down some wax from last year. These were ones that had tunneled, and I wanted to be able to save that wax. So that's what I'm trying to do here. So the candles are looking really good. These two have melted completely. Oops, I'm getting foggy there. The steam. These two have melted completely, and then this one is melted almost all the way to the top. I'm so glad I thought to do this, because otherwise this wax would just get wasted. Alright, so we have all of our supplies here. Abram's got our first brick of wax. And what we'll have to do, Abram, is just leave it like that until it melts enough. And then we'll be able to let it go in the rest of the way. So, you could go ahead and do high, I think. So last year I think I talked a little bit about this in a video, but I bought this crock pot for $10 at the thrift store. Once you melt wax in something, it's really hard to get it clean. So this was kind of like a first year investment, but now we have it. So now we can just make candles in it every year. So all of this is just like the extra trash that comes in the wax. This block is actually pretty clean, but some of our other blocks over here are a lot darker. I've got some cheesecloth that I didn't know I had left over from last year, so that's good. This is some cheesecloth that Brandon got yesterday, and then we've also got some wicks of different sizes.
So we do need these.
Yes. This pack of wicks came from a yard sale, and they were really inexpensive. And then I bought some longer ones from Hobby Lobby in this bag. And then one thing we're doing differently this year is adding coconut oil. Last year we had some of them tunnel, which is why I'm melting that wax again over there on the stove. So we're going to try coconut oil. Supposedly that helps them burn more evenly. So this is an experiment. But this year we really lucked up. My dad didn't have any honey, and I checked with 3 other beekeepers, and 2 of them did not have honey, but one of them had these 4 bricks, and he just gave them to me. So the wax was free. The coconut oil I'll use anyway. If I don't use all of this, I'll cook with it. The wicks were really inexpensive, and then our jars were free. The only containers we paid for are the little teacups or mugs. So, and they were only 50 cents a piece. So it really does wind up being a pretty inexpensive project, especially since I would already make these for us anyway. This is just a planter I need to take it outside. I bought this at a yard sale because I have one just like it outside that I got at a different yard sale maybe last year or the year before. Okay, so Andy and I have been measuring. Andy, what did we figure out?
That 3 inches are perfect.
The 3-inch wicks are perfect for our teacups. Let's check these too. I bet it'll work for those.
I just don't want to give these away.
I know, they're so cute, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oopsies. So we've got our hot glue gun out. We're gonna glue our wicks in there. This is a shorter jar. I wonder if the 3-wick will work for this. This is taller than these, so. But we'd probably only fill the wax up to the lip anyway. Oh, that'll work perfectly. Yeah, that'll work.
Here's a bigger one, I think.
They should be the same size. Now these are all going to need taller ones. Oh look, there's a little bit of the writing there. I'll have to get that off. So these big ones are just salsa jars. We love the pineapple salsa from Aldi, but the expiration date is still on there. You see how that's a little short?
Yeah.
All right, so here's one of our melted ones. Look at all of that wax that we get to reuse. I'm just gonna pour it on in. All right, we got a little left there that didn't melt. So I'm gonna go put that back in the water. This project is one that there's a little bit of upfront cost, but once you get everything all together, it's really just time. It just takes some time to get it all done. All right, Abram's got an ice pack. We've had our first casualty with the wax. All right, let's keep going. As I'm going through this project, I'm still kind of learning. I'm learning what wicks work well, and I'm learning, you know, if the coconut oil helps to burn more evenly. Just it's all a learning process, but it really is a fun one. Hello. Okay, so it's after lunch now, and the kids are just playing outside because they really needed that. I forget sometimes that they, like, are kids. I don't know, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, when I have a project like this, like, I really care, you know, like, I care about the things that we're making. And of course we didn't get started as early as we should have. You know, we should have been doing this weeks ago. But life lately has really just been like, I take things as they come. It's just been very, very fast paced. And so we haven't made anything up until this point, and it just feels like I care about the outcome of the project like a little more than they do, a lot more than they do. So they've done some helping this morning, but you know, trying to get them on board has been hard. Trying to do things with the baby being here is hard. So my mom took the baby to put him down for his nap, and I'm going to go strain this wax. I was able to melt 2 of the bricks down in the crock pot, and I chose to do, like, for each brick, I did like half a container of coconut oil. So there's 1 container of coconut oil and 2 bricks in there. So I'm gonna melt that down, and then I'll show you the vessels over here with the wicks. All right, so here are all the vessels, and I did decide to go ahead and do these ones that Brandon wanted to set aside. He said, you know, he liked them, but he didn't really care, and I just really think they're gonna be cute candles. So we do have 6 of those. We have 1 little mini, and then we have 2 that are a smaller size. This one was a garlic jar. This is one that my mom had. I think this is my favorite of the whole bunch. This like wide mouth kind of jelly jar. I think it is such a cute little shape. Like I said, it's wide and then kind of squatty. And then the majority of these are the salsa containers. Oh, that didn't stick. Okay, this one didn't stick. That'll have to be re-glued. Some of these I washed and made a mess, and the wax didn't come out as well, and they're kind of dirty. So the ones that are dirtier may be the ones that we keep for ourselves. But these are ready to be poured. And last year I wrapped the wick around like a metal straw, like I'd put the straw there and that way it kept it in the center. So I might end up doing that this year, but I'm gonna head outside and work. So I've moved outside at this point. The kids, like I said, are outside just playing, and this is really kind of something that, you know, should be an adult part anyway because of the hot wax, and there's just a lot of things involved. So yes, I'm using a Tidy Cats litter bucket. This was something that I had borrowed from my dad last year, and like I said, once you use something for wax, it just kind of has to stay that way. So now this is just the wax bucket used for straining. So I used some binder clips to clip that cheesecloth in place, and you know, this is a very homemade rig that I have here, but it works. So I'm just using that cheesecloth to strain out all of this first batch of wax, and you'll be able to see here in just a minute just how much trash kind of comes out of that wax that I didn't want. It would just kind of darken the appearance, and you wouldn't want to see all of those little bits just floating in there. Whenever we pull back the cheesecloth, you're able to see that there's beautiful wax underneath, and you can even see around the edges how it's already starting to harden. You have to work very quickly because the wax already starts to harden just by being exposed to the air. It's a very fast process. So I'm all set up here. I had my music playing, and you could see I got scared because I didn't know there was a bee there. And the bees are very, very smart, and they really just, you know, they knew that this was wax and that this, you know, that smell attracted them. So I realized at this point, you know, there's one bee and then there was another one, and they just kept coming, and I realized that I had to move. Okay, well, in an unexpected turn of events, I had to move inside. I remember this from last year. I was working out in the grass, like rinsing all of the bee wax stuff out, and bees started coming around. And, you know, I don't think that they're going to intentionally hurt me, but they're going to go tell their friends. And then, you know, I mean, I had just started working. You saw I just filled that one candle, and already I had 2 or 3 bees out there. So I hightailed it. I brought all my stuff inside. I definitely think this is a project that's better suited for like a garage or a basement or something, but we don't have either of those, so the kitchen it is. So I mentioned earlier that our schedule has just kind of been like handling everything as it comes. And you can see there behind on the door, like I still have spring and summer looking flowers in our basket on the door. I don't even have any fall decorations out. It's just kind of how life has been recently. It's been very good, but it's been very full. Even watching back those video clips of me pouring the wax outside, I was able to see one of our family dogs, Jefferson, in the background. And in the past week, we've had a couple of pretty traumatic things happen in our family, and one of those was actually losing Jefferson. So I just share that with you to say, you know, I don't know, I'm human, and life is beautiful and hard and all of these things at the same time. So here's that first batch of candles. I've got the wax here, and like I said, you can see the edges. It's already hardening, and I would say maybe within 20 minutes these were completely solidified, and then I was able to trim those wicks. So I want to show you a couple of clips here from the actual event. It is such a fun time. Now, who did the artwork? Mason, that is excellent.
Miss Andrew!
Excuse me, can I buy some bread?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you.
Which one's the best one?
Hey, doesn't she need $1 back?
I don't know, they all look pretty good.
Yeah, let's wait till we're
Thank you.
This is one buck.
Yeah, just
And $1. They live in plants in that, and this is $2.
They are.
And these are $2 too.
$2. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I might be back.
I'm gonna go.
One thing we did new this year as a sort of fundraiser was a cakewalk. And I remember doing a cakewalk as a child at a fall festival at my school, but I really hadn't heard about them in a while. And my father-in-law mentioned it being at an event that he was a part of, and I thought, oh, that would be wonderful. So we did that, and it was really just so pure, clean fun. I loved it. We had such an amazing time, and at the end of the day, everybody was completely worn out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.